Hello, Warrior. Hopefully we can get a good video while I'm outside. But I just had a really exciting day last week, and I'm finally wrapping up the events from that day. And it really pushed my abilities in my patience, if you will. It was a long, drawn-out day for sure. But throughout the day, I had this quote that I'm sharing with you constantly on my mind. Don't let what you can't do stop you from what you can do. Once again, my name is Lawrence Stone, and I am the Basic Trainer, and I want to establish a rhythm to your vision. I appreciate you subscribing to my emails, following me on my YouTube page, liking, sharing, all the things that you do. I really do appreciate it. So, last week, I came out to mow my lawn. We have an automatic lawnmower that we purchased last year because this lawnmower is kind of old and it struggles some days. And last year, before we got our other lawnmower, it felt like I was fixing this more than I was using it. And so we decided it's 20 years old almost, it's time to get another lawnmower. We got this automatic lawnmower. Well, at some point, something happened, and there's an invisible fence line that they put on the perimeter of our property for this automatic lawnmower, and the line got severed in multiple spots. And so I needed some help figuring out where those spots were. In the meantime, I had to pull out this trusty old lawnmower that I constantly have to fix and use it to mow my lawn a couple of times. Well, the second week I go to pull it out, I start it up and I get it out of the shed, and as soon as I get it out of the shed, it sounded a little funny and it dies on me. Well, and this was going to be a super productive day. I was going to get the lawn mowed. I've been wanting to clean out my shed, so while I got the lawnmower out of the shed, I'm going to clean out the shed. It's time for some spring cleaning. If I have any time after that, I'm going to clean off the workbench in my garage, and then if I have time after that, there's a few weeds in the garden that we're still getting ready to plant that need to be pulled. So this very productive day planned out, and I get up early, and as soon as I get out, the lawnmower dies on me. Okay, it happens, whatever. I start taking things apart and diagnosing it. I got a bad ignition coil. So I start looking around any parts stores here in town to see if they have one that I can get. And no one in town has one. I find a dealership for this brand of lawnmower in the next town up north of me, about 20 minutes on the freeway. And they have a messaging service online. So I message someone in their store online, and they say, yeah, we got one, come and get it. We just need to get your model number and your lawnmower just to make sure it's the right part. And it'll be about 35 bucks. Well, that's great, because the one I saw online was about 50 bucks. And that was including a spark plug for either one. And so I said, great, I'll be right up. Now, my wife was gone all day, and my kids are old enough they can pretty much take care of themselves, but I know the youngest, the 3-year-old, he can be a little bit of a handful. So I decided I'm going to take him with me. That way I don't have to worry about him with the other kids. And I head out, and we get about halfway to the next town, and all of a sudden I'm noticing that my car is bouncing a little bit. I'm like, great, the tires aren't balanced. Maybe while I'm in town, I'll swing by the tire store, and if they got some time, I'll have it balanced real quick. A couple more miles down the road, my TPMS light comes on. I was like, oh great, I have a small leak in the tire. That's what's causing the problem. I hope I can get to town. I'm about 2/3 away from town, to the town that I'm going to. I hope I can get there, and then I can get to a tire store and have them fix the leak. And about another mile down the road, the tire is completely flat. So I pull over. I'm like, great. I got to pull over and I got to fix the tire. And first thing I think is, well, I got roadside. Why don't I just call my roadside for my insurance? Well, apparently that was a little deceptive. It's not roadside. It's just towing. They call it roadside, but it's just towing. And I don't need a tow. I need someone to help me with my tire. So I said, well, I know how to change a tire. It's not that big a deal. I'm not going to worry about the roadside. I get out all the stuff, but apparently the lug nuts swell up over time. I don't know if you're aware of this. If you have a Ford, get new lug nuts for it. And when I pull out my lug nut wrench, it doesn't fit the lug nuts. And at this point, I am feeling pretty grumpy and upset. And my 3-year-old wants out of his car seat so he can run around and play along the side of the freeway. Now, obviously, I can't let him out and do that, so he's getting a little grumpy with me too. That's not helping the situation. So I called the tire store. They're sending someone out. It's going to be about another half hour, 45 minutes before they get out there. And in the meantime, a local farmer who's checking the water in one of his fields comes and tries to help me out, but he can't help me out with any of his tools either. Finally, the tire guy gets out there, and I mean, in just a few minutes, he has the tire swapped out. He knew exactly what was going on. He warned me. He's like, you'll probably want to get all the lug nuts replaced on this because this is just a known issue. So anyways, I decide I'm not going to worry about it for now. I know that all my tires by the end of the summer are going to need to be replaced and something. Well, I'm just going to get my tires all replaced. But for now, let's go work on getting the lawnmower thing done. And I go to the lawnmower store, and I say, okay, I'm here for the part. This is the model number that I messaged you, but you never messaged me back to confirm you got it. I'm just going to assume you have the part ready for me. I didn't sell this, but I'm thinking it. And he's like, yeah, let me just pull up my computer. He's like, okay, so we don't have the part in. Okay. I can order it in, and it's $60. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure I saw one cheaper online. And he said, it's possible. And he was very polite, very nice young man, probably about 20 years old. He gave me the part number just to make sure I got the right part. And I said, I might come back and order it from you still because it's going to take a week to come in. The flat tire just kind of left me a little paranoid, if you will. So I decided, rather than drive all the way back to my hometown, I'm going to swing by the tire store there and get some new tires. And at this point, it's a little after 1 o'clock. I left 10:30ish in the morning, but I got my 3-year-old with me, and all of a sudden I realize he needs something to eat. My parents live maybe a mile-ish from the tire store. So I walk him, I take him, hold his hand, we walk to my parents' house. Find him some food. He gets distracted by some candy my dad just bought, so it took a little bit of a fight to get him to eat lunch once he discovered the candy sitting out all over the table, but we got him to eat, and he was happy, and he played around, and I chatted with my sister for a couple of hours, because it's Saturday, the tire store's busy, until they get our tires done, and they text me, and I say, okay, I'm going to go back and get the car, and then I'm just going to drive back and pick up my son, let my sister watch him. But as soon as I put on my shoes, he says, no, Dad, we're going to go outside now. It's time to go outside. And he grabs his shoes, and he's just forcing them on me until I put on his shoes. He wants to go outside with me. He sees me putting on my shoes. He's like, I'm going with you, Dad. So I say, you know what? I wanted him to come with me. I wanted to spend time with my son. Why not? We'll walk back too. And yeah, that takes some extra time. So we finally get back. He's been such a trooper. On the way out of town, we swing by and get him an ice cream. I need an ice cream too, of course. So we get ice creams. And we get home, and it's probably 4:30ish by the time we get home. By the time everything's said and done, 4:30ish. And what was supposed to be maybe an hour trip took all day. Okay? And I get home, and I know we got stuff coming up later on, and I don't have time to clean out my shed now. I don't have time to clean out my garage. My lawnmower's still broken. I don't have the part I need. I go online. I find the part. Yep, $50. Save some money, and I can get it in a few days. And I order it, and I want to sit down. And my wife, I feel like she's kind of bracing herself. Like, if my kids do anything wrong, if anything goes wrong, I just might start yelling. It's been a long day. She knows it's been a long day. It's been a frustrating day. But the odd thing about it is I wasn't as angry as I might have been in the past. And see, when I was sitting on the side of the road and I was frustrated about the lug nuts, I was starting to cuss under my breath, and I was starting to get angry. And this quote came to me: "Don't let what you can't do stop you from what you can do." I actually thought of more of a "Don't let what you can't control stop you from what you can control." And I thought, I can't control that my lawnmower is broken down. I can't control that my tire went flat. I can't control how long it's going to take to get the guy out here to get it fixed. But what I can control is I can make sure that my son is happy and stays calm, even though he's strapped into his car seat and he doesn't want to be. He wants to play along the side of the road. And I start talking to him, and I'm smiling with him, and things are going well. And he's being so patient, despite throwing his toy a couple times because he wanted out of his seat. And the farmer that comes and helps me, I'm nice and I'm cordial to him, and I appreciate him, even though he wasn't able to get the solution. I can be cordial. And the tire guy who represented the store that bought me the tires, I'm not mad at him, and I'm not mad at the tires of this tire store for what has happened. You know, it happens. And I appreciate him being there. I can control how I respond to people. When I got to the dealership for the lawnmower and I find out they don't have the part, I can control how I respond to that dealership and to that young man behind the parts counter. Those are things I can control, and I choose to control. And I'm cordial with them. And he was very cordial back to me and made sure I had the part number and make sure I was going to get the right part, even if I didn't order it from them. You know, that's great, and that's encouraging. And I could control that it wasn't going to happen again when I went home by getting new tires in my car. And I can control and find a way to make sure my son had something to eat. I found a way to get him food. And when I got home, I knew I didn't have time. I couldn't control how much time I had to work on my shed or my garage, and it was going to take longer than I needed. But I could control the fact that there were still some weeds I could go pull in the garden. And so when I calmed down and I ordered my part, I went back outside and I started pulling some weeds. I focused on what I could do rather than what I couldn't do. And as I spent my day focusing on what I could do, because I couldn't control what was going wrong. I couldn't control the fact that I wasn't going to get my big to-do list and I wasn't going to have my big, huge, productive Saturday like I was excited to have finally. But I could control how I was going to respond to the unexpected, to the uncontrollable. And my day, yeah, it was long, yeah, it was frustrating, and I got angry in at least one moment. But as I focused on what I could do, and I had gratitude to help me out, the day went better. And I still got stuff done. So when you find yourself in what you believe is an impossible situation, something you can't control, express some gratitude and focus on what you can control. Focus on the fact that you can control your emotions, or work on controlling your emotions. You can control how you're going to respond to people who aren't at fault in the situation, because it can be easy to blow up at just the next person that shows up. So be patient. Control what you can control, and your life will be better for it. And as you do that, you're going to find that your relationships are going to improve, that your ability to focus on the right things are going to be able to improve, and your ability to deal with frustrating, unexpected situations is going to get better and better. And it's going to help you establish that rhythm to your vision, and it's going to be amazing. Just watch what happens.